Uh, I should be waiting after I shower, but I don't care. Been talking to this Jay early today. So I posted this thing. Well, somebody posted this uh, video of a fight, like a boxing match, or maybe it was kickboxing, I'm not sure. Boxing or kickboxing. Between Israeli girl and a Palestinian girl, I believe. I believe she was Palestinian, but I could be. No, I'm pretty sure she was Palestinian. And so I commented that, and the Israeli broad got her ass beat. Like, it was bad. And I commented that they aren't so tough without the IDF behind them waiting to shoot people. Right? And so it's probably gotten more likes and comments than anything else I've ever posted. And it's amazing how, like, it's right down the middle. All of the Goyim comments are like, yeah, hell yeah, you're horrible, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a bunch of Jays that have actually commented, but every single one of them is stupid. I mean, it's this one dude, he said his comment was blow me, something like that, something blew me. And I was like, I pointed out, see, exactly. The only thing you can do is apparently, speak on your fantasies of wanting some dude to blow you. Why would you want a dude to blow you? And they just, like, they're I'd say they're witty responses, but the response, it's just so stupid. Like, all they do is not only prove how stupid they are, but how nasty and how badly we need to eliminate their supremacy, their cult. They are just ugly, stupid people. Both physically and like personality-wise. They are just ugly, ugly people. And it's just shocking how they can't do anything but prove it. I would think, you would think, like, there would be at least a few comments that aren't like, well, ha ha ha, look what our bombs do, and just the most horrendous things. And you pointed out to him, like, dude, you sit here, you're a genocidal pedophile, you're disgusting human beings, and they just laugh. Yeah, so, but we're winning and shit. Like it's just fucking insane. You care. Oh, we've got another person that thinks that's too cowardly to actually type the word out, so they're gonna post N-I-G-G, because, ow, that hurts me so bad. You guys see it? Like, this is what they do, right? So to call somebody a nigger is to, like, scrape the bottom of the barrel, right? In our society, it's just not an okay thing. I personally couldn't care less, but, in our society, it's seen as justification for crime in some cases, right? But it's always a bottom of the barrel thing. Like, people don't, unless they're just piece of shit people. But, that's something that usually comes out when somebody's mad. When you've hurt somebody and you've made them feel stupid or you've made them feel bad, whatever it is, then they scrape the bottom of the barrel trying to get you back, trying to hurt you back. And the fact that, pointing out their disgusting pedophile nature means, it's like, it obviously it hurts them, because now they're scraping the bottom of the barrel trying to hurt back. And it only hurts because it's true, right? That's the only way it works. If it wasn't true, they wouldn't care. You know, this kind of shit. So this person, like, again, this is a dumb J. The repetitive, crybaby kind of bullshit. It just, thank you for, proving the point as always with your fake profile that you made specifically to be able to watch me. Like, this is what they have. This is what they do. This is the best they can bring because there is no defense. How does anybody intelligently defend pedophilia? They can't. And that's what they are, genocidal pedophiles. And you just, basically what they're doing is admitting it. This guy put NIER because he's too stupid to even get his fucking things right. Like, look at these comments. Yeah. Ow. Thankfully, she didn't make a piece of shit J, though, right? Because the J's are the pedophiles. The J's are the genocidal, stupid people. Thankfully, my mom made a fucking intelligent goyim that is clearly a threat, or else you wouldn't waste so much energy and time on me. So, thank you. Again, thank you. Thank you for proving the point like you always stupidly do. I mean, think about it. Like, in a real scenario, right? It's a very Trump-esque way of doing things where you don't actually address what's being said. But just imagine you were in a conversation with someone and you were like, thinking about going and getting something for dinner, and they were like, breakfast, I like breakfast. Like, yeah, I know, dude, but it's dinner time and we ate breakfast a while ago. But breakfast, I like breakfast. You're stupid. Like, you would be like, what are you talking about? Don't you want to, like, can't you have the dinner conversation? Aren't you capable of having the intelligent conversation? Maybe 1 + 2 makes 3, but yeah. Like, think about it. This is what they do. This is, if they could, they'd do better. They just can't. They're just not capable because they're stupid. Not only are they stupid, they're wrong. They're wrong and they're bad. They're just awful human beings. Like that, if what you believe in is right, you take pride in it. You want to tell people about it. You scream it from the rafters. I'm right. I'm proud. This is what I believe, and I'm not embarrassed or scared to talk about it. When you're wrong and you're a coward and this is what you do. You just desperately, say whatever you can to get attention or try to, blow up the conversation. Who knows how many years of yoga I can... How's your crack blunt? I'm going to light up my crack blunt because we smoke crack.
In mine.
Oh, okay.
Yours has crack.
Mine's all crack.
I like meth better.
Mm-hmm. Look at these fucking idiots. Can you imagine being that? Like, I just... It's such an interesting thing to me, to be so stupid that not only, like, can you not have the intelligent conversation? You put yourself in a position to look stupid. I just, it's so weird to me. Such a chosen J thing to do. This is just what they do. If you try to listen to them talk about or justify anything they do, that's what they do. They just sort of spout off nonsense, and then if you question them or challenge them, they start crying. I posted this video. Watch this. This is great. Can I see your phone for a second? I think this is an American girl, at some sort of pro-Israel protest.
Hamas came,
What?
invaded Israel, and kidnapped, raped, murdered babies in ovens.
Put babies in oven?
We have the right to defend ourselves. They are terrorists.
They're terrorists.
You guys have
They're terrorists.
This is an innocent kid. You guys see terrorists.
What? Wish it didn't have the stupid laugh track on it. Wait, she was like 16,000? The person pointed out that that Israelis have killed 16,000 children. It's way more than that, but she went 16,000. But watch what happens. Watch what happens when she runs out of argument.
No, because this no way. I didn't say I don't care. I said
Watch. I'm gonna work up some tears. They're trying to take my home away. She's so dumb. She's so dumb.
Do you think this is fair? Do you think that my parents' village is destroyed and taken away by Israelis only because they're Jewish? They have the right to steal everything. And I am Palestinian. I cannot go even to visit my village. And they told me my parents are next.
You see that? This is what they do. And then, like, again, they make these fake fucking profiles. It's Team Jorge. They make these fake profiles where they come in here, and instead of actually arguing any reasonable point, well, no, Israel is good because we bring this to the world, or we provide that, or we help with this, or we've invented that, or whatever. They just start, ad hominem. Doing the ad hominem thing. It's really fucking insane. But it just says what you need to see. Like, if you think if they could make any reasonable arguments as to why Israel has, any sort of claim on the land or what they're doing, don't you think they would? Instead of coming here and making themselves look like idiots? They would make reasonable arguments, but they can't. So, yeah, it's crack. I'm smoking a whole blunt full of crack. Because that's what people do.
Can you even smoke crack like that?
No. No, you need the torch lighter. It's like talking to a little kid, and you're pointing out that they've done something wrong, and well, you're a poo-poo head. Like, that's all they do. They're just an adult now, so instead of saying poo-poo head, it's crackhead. And the thing is, let's just say I was a crackhead. The fact that a crackhead can make you look so stupid is even worse. Right? Wouldn't that be even worse? Yeah, but huge bed. It's huge. This guy smokes crack of the street. That's the best this person can come. I smoke crack of the street. The Jay I was having a back and forth with on Facebook. He kept repeating, "Well, there's your education system for you. Your education, because you don't have." He would just kept saying the same stupid things, like, not even saying anything real. Like, what do you mean the education? There's your university education. Your university's blah blah blah. So then his last comment was something about isn't great to T. He put TOO, and then he said be well SRU or SUR 6. Whatever it was, he didn't spell it right. And I just laughed and I was like, see, you're just so dumb you can't even get your Burns right. There's that university education for you. And he didn't respond anymore. American flag. Why would you ever pledge allegiance to a flag? Do you know how stupid you have to be for that? Like it's
Go away.
it's all bullshit. Oh, here we go again. Can't come up with anything to say, so we're gonna scrape the bottom of the barrel again. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this, right? This who cares profile is a pedophile, is a J pedophile, and they really don't like when people like me expose them. So desperately trying to do anything they can to dissuade or whatever. And then when I point it out for what it is, and it hurts their feelings, they're trying to hurt feelings back, but they're not smart enough. They're just not smart enough. This is what J pedophiles do. This is how they operate. And you can see it time and time again. Just go watch TCAP. It's weird how TCAP, whatever they did with TCAP, they if you watch TCAP in the first seasons, they were catching like 60%, 70% J's. Something must have come down from up high because the new Hansen show doesn't catch as many J's. It actually doesn't seem to catch any. But if you watch the first episode of the first seasons of TCAP, you have the rabbi being the only person to ever try to physically attack Chris. You have the multiple doctors, You have that Jeffrey Feinstein guy who is associated with wrestling and the WWE and shit. You have Jeffrey Sokol, the guy that literally sat there and ate pizza, thinking, he's too J to get in trouble. He didn't give a shit. The reason he was so calm is because he was a Talmudic J. He brought a Talmud style marriage contract. The dowry. He brought the dowry, so he was trying to get the mother to sign over her daughter, her 13-year-old daughter or whatever. And it's interesting because they don't make a big enough deal about it. This dumbass says, you're not a true American if you don't sing the national anthem every day. Wow. What kind of, I'm glad that I'm not a true American. I'm not some factory robot that I sing the national anthem every day. That's the stupidity that seems to come my way so often. The thing about being an American is that you're free to not sing the national anthem if you want to, or if you don't want to. You're free. That's what the whole purpose is supposed to be, obviously. Look at this. I'm trying to find some reason, but look at them. They're just stupid. This is all they can do. It's just stupid. Yeah. These guys are trying everything they can do to not talk about the elephant in the room. But that's what they always do. You know, the last thing they want us talking about is them. There's the interview with Morgan Freeman by the Jay from 60 Minutes or whatever it was. And he's talking about Morgan Freeman not wanting. Well, let's play it, shall we? If the FBI was that stupid, actually, it would make sense. You know, I'd be willing to believe it. But I think you're just some dumb Jay, you know. You put Morgan Freeman, and the first thing that pops up on YouTube is the interview.
Have you seen this
with
guy?
with Maury, with 60 Minutes host by insulting Black history.
I'm Jewish. Okay, which month is Jewish History Month? There isn't one. Oh.
I want to show you one more of Morgan Freeman. This is from a couple years back.
Dave Rubin started with that.
About Black History Month. Again, his previous answer.
This Jay is gonna comment on a black guy.
History Month you find ridiculous. Why? You're going to relegate my history to a month? Oh, come on. What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? Well, come on. Tell me. Well, I'm Jewish.
See, listen, look at the struggle that happens right here. Because Morgan Freeman is talking about this like in a more general sense, right? Just and watch. He says, you know, which one is White History Month? And this doofus he can't just stick with the program. He can't just be like, oh, well, I see what you're saying. He has to say, look, I'm not a white person. Don't mix me up with white people. Watch. This is fucking awesome.
Which month is White History Month?
Look at him struggling.
Come on, tell me. Well, I'm Jewish.
Oh.
Okay.
So does that make him not white now? He's not white because he's Jay? Is that what he's trying to say? Oh, I'm not a white person. All of you dumbass white people that are tricked into supporting these fucking psychos and calling them God's chosen people, the bad guys from your Bible, the ones that killed Christian God's only child, those are Christian God's chosen people, right? Satan isn't the bad guy in the Bible. It's funny how they gave us the Bible. It's all about them. And yet if you say, hey, you know, they're like, you can't say that. Don't know what this shit actually says. Look at this. This is an interview Morgan Freeman did with 60 Minutes. Watch this.
History Month. Again, his previous answer was stop talking about this stuff. Check this out.
Black History Month you find ridiculous. Why? You're going to relegate my history to a month? Oh, come on. What do you do with yours?
Oh, come on, you silly nigger. Come on.
Which month is White History Month?
Watch this.
I'm Jewish.
He can't even say he's white.
Okay. Which month is Jewish History Month? There isn't one. Oh. Why not? Do you want one?
No. This asshole has the audacity to be like, oh, come on. When Morgan Freeman says Black History Month is ridiculous. Oh, come on, you. Oh, come on.
He said that too. It can't be relegated to 1 month. That's when he said, oh, come on.
I'm Jewish. Oh, come on. What do you do with yours? Black History Month you find ridiculous. Why?
Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month? Oh, come on. What do you do with yours?
Oh, come on. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate it.
I mean that it makes it different.
It doesn't.
I think it makes it more disgusting.
It's it's disgusting any way you put it. But he can't call himself white. He refuses to. He separates himself. I'm not. I'm Jay. And then he says, well, which one's your history month? Do you want one? And he go, no. He says it 3 times. No. Like he's like, oh God, that's horrible. No, it's a thing we made for you guys. It's
To shut you up.
right. We made it the shortest, coldest month of the year.
And I think it's more disgusting because he gave him, when he asked why, he gave him a logical answer. And then at that point to say, oh, come on, makes it even worse than had he said it from an
She's right.
statement.
She's right.
He gave him an articulate, intelligent answer.
But the thing is, instead of calling it out for what it is, Morgan has to play along. I mean, he doesn't, he should immediately jump into that. Like, why not? Why don't you want a history month? Don't you guys have a rich and proud history? Like, what is it?
That changes the whole context of the interview. Like, he was trying to stick on the black subject.
Well, but it doesn't have to. Sticking on the black side, by focusing on the J aspect of it and watching the J squirm, that does put the emphasis on the black aspect of it. It shows you just how ridiculous it is.
Life-threatening condition. Those with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects being allergic reaction.
But it's all in what they're showing you. They're showing you.
Tell your doctor your medical history. Muscular nerve conditions like ALS.
Oh, do we have one of my one of my kids' schoolmates claims that his family's J. I don't know if they are, but it would make sense because they're the bully. The kid's the bully of the school. He's the big dumb bully.
Oh, the dreadlocks?
Yeah. And he talks about how he's always talking about how his dad abuses him and abuses the other kids, and like he always talks about how his house is full of abuse. Whether he's telling the truth or not, you never know because they lie all the fucking time. But it's really sad, right? The kid when they did the camping trip, and the kids were doing like this climbing course thing where you climb on ropes and shit like that through the trees. I actually didn't get to enjoy my kids doing it because I was watching this big motherfucking, this kid's huge. He's like a man size in 6th grade. I'm watching this kid struggle, and I'm talking to him. I'm talking him through it. Like, you got this, man. Good job. And he keeps looking down at me like he's just shocked. He can't believe that somebody is actually, a dad is being nice and encouraging and, not just calling you names and, it's really sad. But this is what it is. I mean, that's what this whole, like, look at what they do to their own children. If they can mutilate, then violate, then sexually violate their own children, or at least watch as a grown man does it while they have a party and they're all standing there watching him do it. Imagine what they can do to the rest of us. And these are the type of things that if there was a J History Month, well, you better believe it would fucking, it would expose that. There's no way that they could keep all of their ritual craziness a secret if there was a J History Month. Said it before, I'll say it again. If I smoked all the crack, ate all the meth, shot all the heroin, and drank all the alcohol, and I kicked my dog, and I beat my wife, and I hit my children, and I personally did all those things, does that somehow take away from genocide? Does that somehow take away from all the countless war crimes that the Jays in Israel are committing? Does that override the insane pedophilia that they're so attached to when it comes to Hollywood and elsewhere? Does it justify any of the slavery or just any of the shit that is Jay? Does it do any of that? Does anything I do outweigh any of that shit? It's funny how I always talk about the big picture and these fake profiles want to talk about me. So are you saying Hitler had a good idea? Well, Hitler was an actor. That's not, like, you obviously don't even know the narrative you're supposed to know, let alone any sort of alternative truth. The whole Hitler, Nazi fucking, that whole narrative is just bullshit. It's all fake. It's just not real. And until you're willing to at least look into it, you'll just believe what you're supposed to believe.
Oh, he's all by you, Dave. Just leave him.
Yeah, that was great at 3 a.m. when I went to pee and they wanted to fight over who got to sleep. Right here.
Was it the girls or these two?
These two.
He's got some piss and vinegar going through his veins today.
Look at all these dumb comments. Instead of, it's amazing to me how day after day after day, no one ever comes in here and like proudly defends the Jays. No, you're wrong, dude. We do this and we are good and we've committed, contributed this and we've done, like, they never have anything good to say about themselves. Like the best way to cure ignorance is with truth. So if I'm being ignorant and I'm wrong, then why not present the truth? Like it's just fascinating to me. Yeah, we built that. Who do you think's hiding the Tartaria shit? The last thing these Jays want us to know is that we were capable of so much more. I mean, it's all so obvious. And just look at how, how desperate. Like, again, if I didn't matter and I was wrong, who would waste their time on me? Obviously, they don't work. No matter what. See, now here we go with the typical arguments. So instead of presenting the arguments, he says, no matter what you say, no matter what anybody says, you'll just say it's fake or it's a lie in your world. Right. But would that matter? Why would it matter what I say? If it's the truth and you present it and I read it, then it's the truth. And whether I say it's fake or a lie or anything, I know it matters to you because I'm your God. But the fact that you always have your ready-made excuses, well, you won't just believe it when I say it. Present me with something that if I look it up, it can't be denied. That's the best part about doing things my way. Is I look at the information they want us to know. and pick it apart. And you know, if I was to say, you know, well, I just don't like a car, so I'm going to pick it apart and prove that cars don't drive. I wouldn't be able to do that. You just go outside and start the car, and, you know, even here, I've given these guys an opportunity to prove me wrong and gain credibility. I've said for some time now, all you have to do is take 1 minute, maybe longer, do it however long you want to, really, and make a Guy Williams sucks video. Post that video online, showing your face, showing that you're a real person who's not a Jay. And you'll have it, right? You'll have some credibility. You'll prove that you're a real person. You'll prove that you're not a Jay. You know, it's trying to go the simplest route, trying to make things as undeniable as possible by just presenting the truth for what it is. It's easy. It's easy. Why do you think not one? They're all willing to come spend hours every single day on my feed, begging for my attention, literally hours every day. Yet not one of them is willing to make a fucking 30-second video, a minute, 5-minute video. Just seems coincidental, obvious. I don't know what word you want to use there. But they're just dumbass pieces of shit, and they do nothing but prove it. I don't know what I think about Kanye. I really want to believe in Kanye. I think Kanye is probably, you know, one of the Mozarts of our time. He's so incredibly talented on so many different levels. At least he was till they fried his brain. But I don't know if I'm falling for the Kanye ruse. You know, this whole Heil Hitler bullshit. It's hearkening back to something that can be, you know, that's a time-tested, proven, like, argument they have. And the you know, the song is okay, but it there's a few lines in it that are like telling, but they're like, he's smart enough that he should be able to make a pretty direct song saying exactly what happened. Calling out exactly what he's supposed to call out. And I can tell you, one of the reasons why I get the interference I get is because I'm not dumb enough to say free Palestine. You know, free Palestine is the thing that they allow us to say. I oppose Zionism. That's another one of these things that they allow us to say. But it's so much bigger than that. It's the cult itself, just the cult. You know, this is Israel isn't real. Israel is just some invisible lines that they can expand as they see fit. It's not a permanent physical thing. It's just an idea. It's not Israel that's the problem. Zionist. You know, Zionist is this open term that you have idiots like Tommy Robinson calling himself a Zionist. It's amazing how many of these dumb shows involve plane crashes and shit, when that shit never happens.
Well, you can't say that. We've had more plane crashes this year so far.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Like these J narratives that they put out that it's always the same. Israel's the good guy. We are in so much more danger than we think we are, and they're much more capable than we think they are, and like it's all the same shit. That's why the narrative is the same narrative over and over again. All the people are the same. They use the same actors, the same writers. It's all just Jay bullshit. It's all Hollywoodism. And I'll say it again, man. Hollywoodism is the thing that everybody needs to watch. Remember, I openly say we need to, end ties with Israel, stop giving our American tax dollars, stop having our American tax dollars stolen from us to give to Israel. And we need to, be much more proactive in the hunt and execution of pedophiles. That's my mission statement. Doesn't matter what your contribution to society is. If you have a predilection towards children, you need to be killed. And of all the people in the world that these trolls can try to interfere with and stop, I'm the one that they want to stop. The guy that says we need to kill pedos. We need to cut off the Jays. Who in their right fucking mind, whether you agree with me on the Jesus thing or the earth shape or whatever, when it comes down to the pedophiles and the genocide and all, who supports that? Shit, at the very least, take it to the selfish position, right? The roads, the roads that need to be fixing, the infrastructure that needs to be fixed. Wouldn't fixing our infrastructure be a better use of $3.8 billion every year, at a minimum $3.8 billion a year? Why do you think we should give our money, our tax dollars, to a foreign entity? Why do you think Americans should lose their First Amendment over a foreign entity? I put out here lots of bullshit, right? I put out lots of questions that, again, if you had an answer, you'd probably say it, because obviously you respond to certain things I say. How come they never have an answer for this? How come nobody can explain why we give Israel $3.8 billion at the bare minimum every year? What's the good part in that?
Dave? No.
Ask any of these trolls, why are they here? If they're dumb enough to say it's because I'm the most entertaining thing in the world, that, once you point that out, so you're saying the only reason you're here trying to stop the person that says we should kill pedos is because that's entertaining? There's literally nothing else in the world that would be more entertaining, so you're going to sit here for hours? It just doesn't make sense, right? It's not how people work. So when you eliminate that, and then again ask, well, so why are you here? What is your purpose? They're not going to say anything.
Not exactly a fair find when the pilots usually aren't around.
Of course you've been watching for a long time. I've been saying the right things for a long time. And I'm the one that has the ability to cross all the boundaries. All the cultural, barriers that are set up, I can cross them. You're terrified of me. And I know it. I get it. I would be too if I was you. This is your downfall, and it's happening. And the best part is it's happening with or without me. Just look around. Your world, your superiority is crumbling all around you. Team Goyim is waking up everywhere you look. And whether it's your fake history, it's your bullshit religions, it's your stupid ass government play, you know, the theater that's government. All of that shit, it's falling. The just shut up and dribble Goyim are dying off. We're leaving. We have cameras in your toilet. See, again, just let them talk. If you just let them talk, they show you the type of people they are. Whether it's a joke or not, who thinks like these are the type of people that put cameras in toilets and watch people poop? They like to watch people poop and shit. They like to watch the poop coming out of the butthole. That's in the cock and balls hanging out. Because that's the type of people they are. They are sick. That's not a thing anybody normal says. Nobody non-J comes up with that kind of stupid shit. We just don't think along those lines. They do. They think that's, oh, that's funny. Oh, I mean, again, these are the people that you know, that have the videos. Let's see if I can find one of those. Israelis mocking Palestinian hostages.
Israelis mocking Palestinian hostages.
Israeli TikTokers mocking embattled Palestinians goes viral in Israel. This is what they do. They make joke videos mocking people who are being, you know, genocide is being committed against them. This is the shit that they do. Look at this. These are just the sickest fucking people. And it's across the board. It's not like they're getting called out for it or anything by their own. Look at them. Putting their babies, their little kids. Look at that. Imagine if people did this about the Jays. It would be this huge fucking problem. And everybody be crying. These anti-Semitic tropes. Look at this shit. Took the head off. You want to see some more? Because there's plenty of them. Israeli video mocks Palestinian detainees with children's song. Here, this is the one I was talking about from yesterday. Okay, let's see you can see it so it's not backwards. This is a new video trend. Mocking Palestinian detainees after arrested by Israeli forces. This is what they do. It was inspired by this video said to show a group of Palestinians being forced to listen to a children's song on repeat for 8 hours. Israeli journalist and politician filmed this video of his children acting as Palestinian detainees. This is a government official. The singer of the children's song was reportedly brought to an Israeli army base to perform. Another popular Israeli artist also visited the soldiers. Who doesn't have water, food, and electricity? Gaza. They are going to build a carnival there. Gaza. Who is going to live in tents? Gaza. There also have been videos of soldiers forcing detainees to hold the Israeli flag. The trend is the latest among videos mocking Palestinians as Israel continues its bombardment. a children's song because they're sick. They're sick. And again, you know, so do you guys honestly believe it's just regular white Americans that are sitting here seeing this evidence? This is the evidence. And just making jokes and shit? Who the fuck would do that? Has anyone contact your children's school on your family's heavily anti-Jewish opinion? Doesn't matter. That's the best thing you could do. Because that would bring, you know, news attention and shit. Do it.
What if all I do for my type 2 diabetes isn't enough? Or what if?
And look at, do you see how, like, again, I'm providing you direct evidence. And instead of being able to argue it or explain it or anything, now it's this kind of bullshit, right? This is the best you guys can do because you have nothing. There's no argument here. You know, if you could explain it in a way, you could change my mind. I didn't start off this way. My mind was changed based on the information I was given. But think about that. Think of this. Look at how stupid they are. You know, normal people would see that and be like, Jesus, they actually do that shit? Like, it's just horrible. It doesn't matter what belief structure you have. That's why it has, like, it's partially the cult, but I mean, it's the people. You know, there's no situation where I would make videos or have my children making videos mocking people in detention, mocking detainees who are, you know, the absolute victims. These people are what's done to them is just atrocious. And you're going to make videos mocking them? Have you seen the videos where they rent boats to watch the explosions? Israelis using boats to watch explosions.
Israelis using boats to watch explosions.
Yeah, it wasn't a good enough title, I guess. Israeli watching bombing. Israelis watch Gaza operation from the hills of Sirdat. Jesus, man. Israeli settlers watching bombing from boats. Are Israelis offering boat tours? Let's see what Snopes has to say. Are Israelis offering boat tours to watch Gaza get bombed? The context behind a troubling scene in the Turkish documentary Holy Redemption. Key points. A video authentically captures extremist Israeli settlers viewing Gaza during a conference held amid Israeli Defense Force bombings in Gaza that was aimed at planning a future J resettlement of the Gaza Strip. The boat tour itself was and is not a regular commercial exercise endorsed by Israel, as implied by some media reports. See, they're gonna acknowledge it, but then they're gonna like, oh, but it's because and it's okay. Yeah. Funny how that works. In late September, several social media accounts shared a roughly 1 minute clip described as showing Israelis giving boat tours off the coast of Gaza to watch it get bombed and see the place where they built or they plan to build new settlements. Yeah, this isn't the video I saw. This is a different video. So the clip comes from the final scene in an hour-long documentary, Holy Redemption, Stealing Palestinian Land, produced by the Turkish state-controlled media company TNT World. In the clip, the film's narrator is heard describing the scene. That same night, while Gaza is relentlessly being erased, they took a boat with the first families ready to occupy the land of those who are being killed and starved to death. The they, referenced by the video's narrators, are members of the most extreme wings of Israeli settler movement. Yeah, see, they always do that shit. They're all members of these extreme wings. But it's there. It's fucking there.
It's time to take a spin on the new Fanatics Casino app. Get 500 free.
This must be a different thing. This must be a different once in a while thing.
All our lives we lived by the rule that it's dangerous to go out. We grew up with the Palestinian rockets and war.
There were no Palestinian rockets in war. That's just this narrative that they all talk about, but there is none of it. It doesn't exist.
We had enough seeing the view of the security room of the house. We came to see the people, to breathe some fresh air and see the sunset.
They came to see the sunset and breathe fresh air because they've been stuck in their security rooms in their houses. Sure. It's all just it's all bullshit. Show me any videos of Israel actually being attacked. I'd love to see it.
While Dr. Bull has been searching for biases, I've been in touch with the airline who are negotiating a settlement with the plaintiffs. A settlement? Yes. It's a very generous offer to the victims.
Oh, look, it's the children. Israelis organize boat tours for sightseeing Gaza destruction. Jesus Christ. You see how dark it is? It's because they cut the power. So they don't even have lights. Disgusting, disgusting people, man. Israeli drones attacked a Gaza-bound aid ship in international waters near Malta. Not hearing the international outcry about this, are you? Israel attacks aid ships, aid trucks. Look at this. Just can't imagine what that's like. Missiles exploding over your
This is
head.
an emergency. We need everyone to contact the Malta government right now. At 12:30 a.m., our ship, the Freedom Flotilla, was attacked by 2 drones. Explosions. You can go see a video footage on our Instagram page. Please, everybody, put pressure on the Malta government to save the crew. There's about 30 souls that had to abandon ship. The ship is on fire. It's taking water. Please, everybody, all hands on deck.
We are talking that we are here right now in Malta. We've been here for several days preparing this Freedom Flotilla to break siege.
Just insane. Just insane. I remember when the U.S. government took a page from the Israeli book thinking it was going to work. Remember when they broadcast Operation Shock and Awe? Thinking, well, we like seeing that kind of stuff, so they're going to, like, they
I remember people talking about it. They're like, oh my God,
horrified.
that's so cool. No.
The reason they don't keep doing it is because people were
I
horrified.
was horrified. I wouldn't watch it.
People were horrified because you were literally watching murder.
People dying.
Yeah.
It wasn't just.
There was an
explosions.
overwhelming response, right? And they realized, oh shit, we can't do that, because that's how they think. If you there's an interview from not long ago, because the narrative they were putting out was that Hamas was launching balloons, was launching balloons over the wall with incendiary devices on it that would land in empty fields and catch them on fire. Places they were planning on doing construction, so they had to burn all the shit down first. Nobody says, wait, they were using balloons to go over the wall. What wall? Remember, walls are bad. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. Remember that shit?
But we should build a wall between U.S. and Mexico.
But they were running with this narrative. Again, they can't show you, like, so Hamas has missiles and all this weaponry and all that, but they're resorting to using balloons. and how do you control a balloon and make it go where you want it to go? It's just such a dumb narrative, but it's one they went with. And they interviewed this average Jay in Israel about what he thought they should do. And he said, for every balloon that comes over that wall, we need to take out one of their buildings. Women, children, whatever, take them all out. That'll teach them. That's how they think. They think in that like insecure little dick kind of way. Like, if you sort of cap on them, then they got to go for the jugular and make you look bad because people might be looking. Because they're insecure little weasels. But that's how they think, is that tenfold. And you see it time and time again. This last bullshit with Yemen, where they said a single Yemeni rocket, there was a rocket and a drone. A single Yemeni rocket landed near the Ben Gurion airport. Didn't destroy anything, didn't hurt anybody. But of course, they said that that happened. So in response, they hit the shit out of Yemen's airport. They launch multiple strikes and then say it's in response. I mean, this was a really common tactic, and they were using Hezbollah for the longest time, and prior to 2023, prior to suddenly it being Hamas. But it's all just it's all fake narrative. Israel fires the rockets into the agreed upon coordinates so that they can shoot it down and further the idea that they have this impenetrable iron dome. 3 layers of the iron dome. The arrow, the THAAD or whatever I don't remember. And then the iron dome. And the thing is, this is just like the Samson option. If you think that Israel has this impenetrable iron dome, you're a lot less likely to try to test it. Knowing that, they constantly tell stories and show videos saying that, the Iron Dome will take out 99% of the missiles fired at them and analyze, the 1% they don't destroy, the system is analyzed and figured out that it's going to fall short of hitting anything. So they just let it fall. But this is what they do, man. This is how they it's like their modus operandi. right? They decide they want to target a place. They then go to that place and launch a bunch of missiles to an agreed upon coordinates, so that they shoot them down. And not only do they further the myth of the Iron Dome, the impenetrable Iron Dome, because again, anytime they want to do something, suddenly the Iron Dome fails. It only fails when they want to do something, I guess. And then after they shoot everything down, then they say, okay, well, that's now our excuse. We get to bomb the shit out of that where those rockets came from. That they launched 2 rockets, we're gonna launch 200. And they yep, I was a strong Biden supporter. Look at the desperation. See, this guy's prepared to argue poorly, I'm going to imagine, against a Biden supporter. Because he must be a Trump supporter then, which is just, it shows you what a racist piece of shit he must be. But this is what they do. They can't argue against what I'm saying. There is no arguing that Israel isn't behind all of the bullshit we see. That they're not orchestrating where did Hamas, who, not only is there a blockade around Gaza, 2 or 3 weeks prior to October 7th, they added an extra layer of blockade. They really, really shut everything down. And so the idea that somehow Hamas came up with 5,000 rockets. Israel claimed Hamas launched 5,000 rockets within the first 20 minutes. It all happened so fast that there's no footage of it. Because it just happened too fast for anybody to get their cameras out in the most heavily surveilled area in the region. But they launched 5,000 rockets. Where did they get them? How much do rockets cost? I think, with how much fireworks are, and that's nothing, I would imagine rockets are in the tens of thousands of dollars a piece. How many rocket launchers would you need to have to be able to launch 5,000 rockets in 20 minutes? 4 rockets per second for 20 minutes. How many rocket launchers would somebody need for that? How did they get all those rocket launchers? We're talking about, again, an area under total blockade. Can't get food, can't get medicine. Israel wasn't allowing lumber to come through to rebuild the houses because they said the lumber could be then turned into weapons and used against Israel. So they were stopping everything but 5,000 rockets and however many rocket launchers it takes to launch 5,000 rockets. They were able to do that. And then you see, again, the Iron Dome, the most heavily surveilled area in the region, for some reason, they all just fell apart. On that day, everything just failed. When they said it was the 9/11 of Israel, they're right. Because it's just manufactured bullshit that just doesn't make any sense. The one time, it's the only time in any sort of history that Hamas has launched some sort of attack, and they were that successful. And if that's the case, then why hasn't anybody else, with a lot more firepower and a lot more capability, attacked? There were no Israelis killed or taken hostage on October 7th, other than, a handful of, ones they wanted to get rid of for whatever reason. Maybe they were sympathizers. But it's all bullshit. It's literally just an incredible amount of lazy bullshit because they didn't even do a very good job. You know, the narrative that they give that this attack, these guys flew in on hang gliders and shit. How? Where were they launching from? They flew in from hang gliders, and then what? Told the hostage, all right, grab on, and we're gonna run really fast so we can take back off again. How did they kidnap people with hang gliders? Hang gliders and motorcycles. How do you kidnap somebody on a motorcycle? It's so stupid. Their narratives are just stupid. And the thing is, they just don't care because they know they have us all distracted by shit like Trump, by yet another white cop killing a black man, unarmed black man. You know, by the Pope, right? Oh, and the Pope is saying all the right things.
He's talking shit about Vance, Musk, all of them.
Right. Well, they're trying to stoke those religious fires. I mean, even your average everyday Trump supporter, it's just stupid. What are you ask the Trump supporter what it is? Like what did he do that's so great? Is it the higher gas and food prices that you were swearing the opposite was going to happen? Is that what it is? Is it the insane amount of money that's gone to Israel? And then they're doing this bullshit where they're pretending like, so Netanyahu comes here, spends some time with Trump and, you know, and the crew behind closed doors and shit. Then Netanyahu leaves, and now Trump immediately has a trip to the Middle East where he's snubbing Netanyahu and Israel and not going to Israel and making these peace deals with Yemen, these truce. As long as the Yemeni don't attack U.S. vessels, the U.S. won't attack Yemen. Gee, what does that sound like? Does that sound like foreshadowing to anybody else? That they're setting up this narrative so then Israel can attack a U.S. ship and blame it on Yemen, you know, another USS Liberty, except this time it's going to work? Because they learned their lesson last time. With the USS Liberty, they left too many soldiers alive who could say, no, they, you know, who could contradict the narrative. And even though they gave a narrative, there were enough people to say it wasn't true that they couldn't push the war aspect of it like they wanted. It wasn't actually Egypt.
I need to get her on the stand.
It's pretty fucking crazy. But watch. One of these countries that Trump is supposedly, you know, he did, and they say things like, you know, they didn't run it by Netanyahu and run it by Israel first. Why would they? Why would we do anything that we run by Israel first? They don't matter, right? They're not. This is the U.S. we're concerned with, right?
You ever think about who the other woman was?
Yet we just don't, you know. They show it to us. They show us what they're doing. And you know, and we're just like, we just watch. We even complain to each other about it. Like, hey, did you see that? That's fucked up. Yeah, let's keep watching. You know, we could fix this. We could do something about it if we really wanted to. But let's just keep watching instead. There's no way a month ago or a little over a month, whatever, Trump is pulling out Netanyahu's chair and pushing it in for him. And now there's some sort of rift. This is the perfect setup for the next false flag. And hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully this is one of my predictions that I'm wrong about, which doesn't happen very often because I don't make predictions unless I kind of think that they're going to come true.
In the actual court,
Looks like our video's been shut down. All of a sudden, people are just like, nah, this guy crazy. All at the same time. All the people that were here at the same time, like, nah, this guy's crazy. That makes sense, right? That's how that works. I'm telling you guys, I hope I'm wrong about this one. I really do. Because it, you know, like this is that thing that doesn't get talked about enough. You know, if what's better? Is it better that Sandy Hook happened the way they said it happened, and those kids all died, or it was a false flag bullshit operation and no kids actually died? Like, ideally, as fucked up it is, and as fucked up as it makes things look, I would much rather the situation where no kids die is what happened. And that's the narrative you have to remember when you're looking at all of this. You know, being 100% right about October 7th, except, you know, I can't say 100% right because I thought it would happen later. But saying that shit was going to happen months before it happened, and then having people come to me and be like, dude, you were right, holy shit, blah, blah, blah. That didn't make me feel good. That made me feel sick. I've been saying these things for years, knowing it's coming, and I don't know, assuming I guess I never really did, because I always said I hope I'm wrong. I just never had that opportunity to be that right before. Especially about something that, well, I mean, I did call COVID. I did predict that thing, but it was on a different level. You know, it wasn't something that I was running around like, yay, look at, I was right. I don't want to be right about these things. I really wish the Jays were better people. I really wish there would be more of them that would come through and you know, present themselves as a better people. I'd love to be wrong about it. It just doesn't seem to be that way. You know, when it came down to submarines, sure, I wanted them to be real. Why not? They seem cool. The idea of it's really cool. But I just had a hunch, and I've learned at this point to embrace the hunches instead of, you know, that's nothing. And you know, it's when I looked into it, it was obvious. I mean, I just, you know, if you're not married, then you don't understand. But my wife, it's not like a thing where everything I say, she's like, oh, you're right because you're my husband. If anything, she's like, man, that idiot's fucking wrong. You know, it's just kind of what it is, right? And when it came to submarines, she thought I was wrong. She's like, come on, you're gonna go this route now? Like, seriously. You're gonna make yourself look stupid. But then when I was looking at it and I was reading things to her and I was presenting things to her and, you know, trying to find footage, can't find footage. The footage we do find is very telling. Eventually she had to cave and be like, well, you know, like, again, she believes there's more. We're still not on the same page. But the big whale submarines that swim around way deep in the water, and She doesn't believe in them. The information was there. It wasn't a personal choice. There wasn't enough information to be able to show that it was legitimate. And that's how all of this is. You look and you try to find out, go look up any sort of historical anything. And by, especially prior to like the 50s and shit. 60s, right? I mean, we think about it sort of, the 1950s, 1960s, whatever. We think about it in a more, you know, recent sort of context, like, oh, it wasn't that long ago. But it was a really long time ago. And all the people that were 40 years old in the 40s, 50s, whatever, 60s, they're either dead or on their way there.
No.
They're probably actually dead.
You don't need
Yeah.
to eat that.
If you were 40 in 1960, you'd be 100 years old. No, wait. If you were 40 in 1960, another 40 years. Yeah. You'd be 100 years old. There are not a lot of 100-year-old people. Funny math, and then I'm like, wait, second guessing, and then half the math again. Looks like they shut my comments off. I don't know what to tell you. Do you know anybody else that happens to? At some point, they just shut the comments off. So you guys think I'm ignoring you, and I think nobody's paying attention. Look at the previous comment, right? All of the previous comments. Look at how rapid fire they were coming. And then they just stopped? How does that work? I think it's so fascinating that I'm supposed to be wrong and nobody even attempts to prove it. They'll come up with excuses or, you won't believe it if we present it to you. Then maybe find something undeniable. But like you see it, like, or you don't. Like, I don't know how you don't see it. I don't know how you don't see the lack of intelligent opposition, not even attempts. None of these Jays are proud enough of what they believe in to come to come defend it. If you wanted to fix the issue and you were on the right side of things, you just come in and explain, like, dude, all these misconceptions about our people, about our cult, our beliefs. I'm here to explain why you're wrong. I'm here to explain to you why we're good. You'd think that would be a thing, but it's not. Just like, good luck finding somebody making reasonable arguments about Israel in a discussion format with somebody on the other side. They say horrible things. You'll find lots of videos of them saying horrible things, but nothing like concrete, nothing that you can be like, oh, well, guess that makes sense. And it's so funny how they like completely rely on the Bible. Seriously, how many times have you heard one of them justify something by saying, well, it's in the Bible? Well, the Bible says. Since when is the Bible a part of their shit? It should be, no doubt. It's funny how the Bible isn't about Christians. Right? Like, it's so weird. It's such a weird fucking story. And it's shocking that so many people fall for it, But at the same time, it's 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 it makes sense when you look at how it's written in in a way that you can't really understand. I mean, you can, but you have to be pretty smart and skeptical to be able to understand it. So it's written in this way that people have to go to someone else to explain it to them. Because the person you should listen to should be a virgin who doesn't pay bills and shit. The new pope is a virgin. Some 70, 80-year-old virgin. What would you listen to that fucker for? He doesn't pay bills. He doesn't work. He's what experience does he have that he can relate to your...
Doesn't know what it's like coexisting with another human being of the opposite sex in the same,
domicile.
Isolated area.
Right. While struggling with bills and stresses from outside and kids and...
Like, he might live at the bathroom with a bunch of other people, but he has his own private quarters with his own bathroom, his own,
And
whatever.
servants.
So, it's not the same as living with a spouse or partner or...
Hey, look, they turned the comments back on.
It's not the
Coincidence,
same.
huh?
He doesn't have to live in a
real.
relationship.
He doesn't have a real situation. His shit is fantasy. I want to live in a palace where I do whatever I want all day, and I have adoring fans, and I have servants, and it's a fantasy. That's not real. How could that dude give you marriage advice? Why would anybody take relationship advice?
Of getting married and having kids and having a real job.
Or even having at one point juggle a couple of bitches, or a couple, they don't know what that, all they know is abstinence. What do I want to listen to you for? But this is that shit, man. And ask yourself, why do all the popes and the highest ranking cardinals and shit, why do they all wear yarmulkes? They're the big old school ones. They don't wear the new fashionable ones. But they wear the old ones. Why? Are we saying that back when the religions all just magically started at some point, that the yarmulkes were just this huge fashion trend that, only stuck with the highest rank? Like, it's just so goofy. Yeah, well, just a small portion of your head, though. Yeah. It's all right there. The fact is, like I keep saying, why isn't anybody capable of arguing? Why isn't anybody capable of making any realistic or sensible arguments to the contrary of what I'm saying? It just seems, it seems far-fetched. And if I'm wrong about things, it just seems like with as much as people do comment stupid shit, you would think there would be at least half of it would be reasonable, or at least attempting to make reasonable arguments. But how do you do that? How do you make a reasonable argument in support of your own slave masters who hate you, who think of you as no different than the table, than the chair, than the cat, the dog? You're just goyim scum. You're here to provide service. Why would anybody want to believe in that? What's that going to give you? How does it give you peace of mind?
Botox effects may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms.
It's just mind numbing. You know, this shit's insane. It really is insane. Mm-mm. Yeah. We should be a lot more proud of ourselves. And they have us fighting about shit, and they have us, you know, the things that we deem to be like representatives of our culture or whatever. Like it's
What are you ordering, Miss Cindy?
it's insane. It's just insane. It's all negative. How about talking about something positive? Right, because eliminating the slave masters, eliminating the pedophilia, and eliminating genocide isn't 100% positive. This is the shit. This is the best that you can come up with. It's 100% positive. It's not fake, stupid positive. But why would anybody come to a feed and be like, hey, I know this is the thing you talk about, but I want you to talk about something else? Do you just like my voice? Do you like my presentation? Like, you want to hear me talk about something else because seems pretty silly. Seems pretty silly to me. But it's, you know, it's what they have. They just don't have anything else to be able to say.
Can you just not push your luck?
And instead of you know, making sense of things and educating and you know, I mean, I don't get it. I don't. Muslims don't come through. Christian, none of them come through in proud defense of their thing. And you would think, like, why wouldn't they? What you know? They always like Christians especially. They love to push their shit on you. You go to the store and they say, "Have a blessed day. Have a blessed." They love to do that. So if you're gonna openly push your shit on me, how come none of them are willing to come here? Just, I'm not saying that this is what it should be every time you talk to somebody, but how come none of them come to this type of discussion and actually try to make it work? Try to help someone understand. Why would any of you ever believe that shit? Even the idea of like you're too insecure and selfish and arrogant to believe that you just die like all of the animals you eat.
Oh my God, I love you.
But you know, why are none of them capable of having, or why do none of them know what they believe and why they believe it? Why are they so offended? At the very least, why not, like, you know, why not think like, you know, you want to at least speak to the world. And why would my opinion matter so much? If I don't believe what you're saying or what you believe in, how does that negatively affect you? Other than me pointing out what an absolute piece of shit, selfish, arrogant fool you have to be. But, you know, if you can get past one person's opinion, then why should it matter? Other than me rocking your shit, right? If you knew that you could have the conversation and still maintain the beliefs that you have, you would. But I think you know that you're smarter than. So if I start pointing out these things, you're not going to be able to maintain your selfish belief. It's called being nice to your fellow man. Saying have a blessed day isn't pushing anything but being... No, it's very much pushing it. Because I guarantee if a Muslim was like, Alhamdulillah, or some shit like that to you, you'd be upset. Hey man, this is America, Jack. We speak English here, Jack. I know if somebody said Satan loves you, you'd have a real big problem with that. No, see, this is the stupidity combined with the arrogance. It's really kind of weird, but that arrogant stupidity where they do the thing and then deny that they do it. Because even saying "have a great day" isn't like a normal thing. Right? Oh, all right, have a great day. Have a blessed day. You had to make yourself say that. That wasn't something that was just this natural thing. That's not a natural goodbye. People say "have a blessed day" is this new thing. It came about, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago. I'm not sure. It wasn't a thing when I was a kid. Do you remember people saying that to you all the time at the grocery store and shit? Have a blessed day. When you were a kid?
No,
No.
I hear it way more now.
Yeah. It's something that sort of started in the 2000s, maybe late 90s.
Well, when teenagers start using it, then it becomes fads, you know. And the teenagers, all the teenagers right now in high school, damn near all of them say, at least at our youth, in our area.
Well, there's a lot of them. Yeah, there's a lot of idiot Christians, especially in the poorest neighborhoods.
And when I was a teenager, very few kids talked about religion or
I never remember hearing somebody say "have a blessed day," especially something like at the grocery store. That shit never happened because as a kid I would have been like, you know, it would. Especially as a teenager, I would have said something. But like that is absolutely you pushing your dumb shit on people, and then to be so fucking stupid and arrogant to think, no, that's not what we're doing. Like, it's not being respectful. It's the opposite of being respectful. Assuming somebody believes in your shit. Like, what if I'm offended by that shit? I'm offended by your fucking crazy ass pedophile Christian shit. Don't push that shit on me. Have a great day is actually easier to say. Less letters. And it's universal. It doesn't invoke anything. See, you're just dumb, and you're proving it. He just hates himself. That's the real problem here. So that's the next response. First, this is the person saying, "Oh, it's we're not pushing anything. It's just being respectful." So then when I blow up his argument, he says, "He just hates himself. That's the real problem here." That's what it must be. I hate myself so much that I go live every day focused on my face and talking about what I believe. That sounds like somebody that hates themselves, doesn't it? And then I also make the songs where I talk about all sorts of controversial shit because I hate myself so much. I mean, at least go with the more likely thing, which is me being some sort of egomaniac. That one at least would make more sense. I love me some me. Don't get that twisted. You know? I'm the best lover I've ever had. I can make me pop quicker than anybody else can. Are they throwing you in a van and shoving Bibles in your face? No, they're just saying have a good day. No, they're not. They're saying have a blessed day. But you think it's either the only way you can push something on somebody is by kidnapping them in a van and pushing whatever it is in their face. That's you pushing your shit. Having a good day is even less letters than great day. Why wouldn't you just say have a great day? And why are you so like you're not proud enough in your shit to be like, yeah, I am pushing my stuff because my stuff is the truth. You're just saying it because it makes you feel better, huh? This says you're our narcissist. You're our narcissistic. Nope, not narcissistic at all. It's just not true. I'm just like really, really proud of myself. And I'm really super smart, especially when it comes to a couple of things. If you want to talk about accounting, if you want to talk about space, no, I can do that one too. You want to talk about medicine, you want to talk about law, I'm going to get my ass kicked in most of those those arguments. You know, I don't know the ins and outs of those things. Certain aspects of law, maybe, but for the most part, I don't know like mortgages and shit like that. I actually worked in that field for a while, and I still don't know shit about it. You could. My wife would just smash the shit out of me when it comes to an argument about mortgages and interest rates and all that kind of shit. But when it comes to this certain grouping of things, I'm not like you. I'm not stupid like you, and I'm not your average goyim that's been tricked into thinking I shouldn't take credit for what I do. I should give all of my good credit to God. No, I worked very hard to get to this position. I went against the grain in many, many ways. I lost family over this to get to the point where I'm proud enough of what I'm saying to say, hell yeah, I'm proud of my anti-Semitism. And the reason I can say those things is because I can then have the argument to back it up. It's confidence. You know, LeBron James isn't, narcissistic by thinking he's fucking amazing at basketball. He is. You're the narcissist. You're the arrogant dumbass if you think you could get off the couch and have a good game with LeBron. The LeBron James theory. I have a whole thing about it. But the reality is, you could decide today that you were going to start practicing basketball and you put in hours every single day and, you just play and play and play and play and play. You wouldn't be able to sniff LeBron's jock. Even 10 years from now, he'd destroy you. You could not beat LeBron James in basketball. You're the arrogant fool there. It has nothing to do with ego. Everybody should have a good ego, a strong ego. You should know what you're good at and what you're the best at and be proud of that thing. No, I'm not just some dumb goyim slave. I'm the best goyim slave at this. And if you ever have that job that needs to be done in this department, I'm the guy for the job.
Can I ask a quick question unrelated because I know I'm going to forget it later?
You already did.
The guys that go and get the shaves by the barber, do they have to go every morning and have the barber shave them?
No.
Well, why not? Doesn't the 5 o'clock shadow happen? And
I'm sure if they could, they would, but they let it, either, when they go to get the barber to do it, it's because they have something coming up, so they want that profession. Okay. Otherwise, yes, you would have to shave every some people. Some people's beard shit doesn't grow.
LeBron James.
I know. This whole bullshit. Yep, I'm in denial. Yeah. Because I'm saying there are plenty of things that I don't do amazing. But I know, like I love when people win a race, like the 100-meter dash or whatever. And they're like, first of all praise and glory be to God. If I didn't have God in my life, blah, blah, blah. It's like, so what do you think you just prayed harder than the other person did? Because I guarantee if any of those people won, they'd say the same thing. And you never see somebody on TV that wins going, you know what? I'm really proud of myself. I gave up going out on dates, and I gave up, playing video games, and I gave up eating cake, and I just busted my ass every day for the last 10, 20 years, whatever it may be, so I could get to this point. And all these people that are next to me and around me, they're fantastic. And the fact is today, because of all the hard work and everything else that went into it, I am the best. And I'm very proud of myself for achieving a goal that very few people will ever achieve. You can't say that, because then you'd be some arrogant dickhead. If I sit here and I tell you guys, oh, you guys need to go watch this video, or you need to go watch that video, or listen to this band, or whatever, nobody's going to think twice about it. I could glaze the fuck out of him. This guy is fucking smart. He has all these great points. He's kind of good looking. You know, I'd fuck him. He speaks well. He's articulate. Blah 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 blah. People be like, "Damn, bro, you crushing on that dude?" And I'd be like, "No, man, you gotta check that shit out." And they'd be like, "All right, I'll check it out." But if I say the same shit about myself, yeah, I'm fucking smart. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm good at this thing. Oh, then I'm some sort of arrogant dick. Like, that's how they've manipulated us into thinking. My wife is fantastic at this, right? She acts like she's not, she's the opposite of me. She doesn't have an ego and shit like that. Yet, let certain things come up, and nobody else even thinks to do it because they're like, no, she'll do it. No. She'll do it better than we will, blah, blah, blah. And she isn't like, why isn't anybody else trying to do this shit? Why is everybody always put it on me? She goes, no. No, I got this. Stay the fuck away. She knows she's the best at it. But for her to say it is like, oh no, I can't say that. Why? Be fucking proud of yourself. Can you hold this for a second? I gotta go pay.
Pay. Oh. Sorry, folks, I'm a little consumed. Got the gut this morning. And no, I'm not an arrogant fuck. I'm sorry. Even as much as I know all the ins and outs of mortgages and all that type of shit, I still think that there's people out there that are better and know more.
She followed Mike to a concert in Central Park. She threatened.
That's just.
And hours later,
I would say there's very few people that have earned arrogance. I'm not one of them. Why does it bother you that people don't want to take? Oh.
She's guilty.
Yeah, y'all don't want me chiming in on that anyhow. Oh.
These two were downloading the podcast during lunch.
20. Holy crap, it's May 19th already. It's already almost halfway through the year. This year has been sucky. It seems like it's gone fast, but then you think about all the shit that's happened, and it's like, wow. It's been a long year. Love what perspective, the fact that there's always somebody that knows more, because there fucking is. People that don't think like that, I think, are personally very insecure, not confident. I think most arrogance comes from insecurity. They can't handle the thought of somebody knowing more than them, so they're going to bully their way and convince everybody around them that they're the best. That's arrogance. And that just comes from, oh my god, I can't handle it. Somebody knows more than me. Whatever. Fuck them all. Fuck them all, fuck them all, fuck them all. Fuck the long, the short, and the tall.
That's not very nice.
Oh, hell yeah, that's the best advice
That's not very nice.
Not the best. Second best advice I've ever gotten. First best advice I've ever gotten is
shut up.
The source.
Be seen and not heard.
No. Oh. Consider the source.
I think be seen and not heard is the best advice a woman can have.
The perspective that they were speaking about, as I said, No matter how much you think you know about something, there's always somebody out there that knows more.
Yeah, people that are smarter than me are fantastic. I love people that are smarter than me, depending on how they approach it. Like her brother, he's a pretty smart fucking guy.
Yeah, but he's got arrogance, again, stemmed from insecurities.
Right, right.
That's all
He
arrogance
he
is.
he's he's a very smug asshole.
So he bullies his perspective into things because he can't handle the thought of being wrong.
Because it's just like dumbass next door, right?
Oh,
Dumbass next door is he doesn't bring anything to the table. He's short, he's fat, he's ugly. Like at least your brother's not ugly and fat. He's an okay looking guy. He's got good body for his age and
he's little.
He is short and that sucks. And obviously like the Napoleon complex isn't talked about because people just are making up some story.
No,
it's very, very real.
Men get made fun of being short their whole lives. I mean,
but he's not short. He's not short. He's pretty much average.
He's like 5'7". He's short.
He's average height. He's average height.
5'7". Average height 6 foot.
No, no, it's not. Not even close. But the average height too. Again, that's the majority of the people that I see. I mean, he might be a little bit smaller than most, but I think average height's like 5'10".
Average height for men in the United States is 5'9". It's gone down.
No, it hasn't. It's gone up. It's gone up. But yeah, 5'9". I'm telling you, he's about average height. But it's because like again, so like especially with
5.3.5
for like doofus next door, the only thing he had was being the guy who knew stuff. You know, he's the smart guy, and so when something threatens that you're taking away everything he has. As somebody who has more to offer, you just don't understand that that's what's happening so much of the time. You're not just arguing with them. You're denying the only thing that they feel like they bring to the table. And, her brother is the type, the thing that's weird about her brother is he is very book smart and reasonably, street smart in some instances, like he's mechanically inclined and shit. But it's this, he has that, like, this is the guy that got his COVID shot and got every booster shot possible and ended up in the hospital twice and almost on a ventilator once. Like, that's the only issue is, like, he's smart in the way that you're supposed to be. And somehow he went from being somebody that actually sort of saw that kind of shit and questioned things to now he just believes it all. And I wonder what that catalyst was that made him suddenly, he's a Catholic now? Like, what the fuck?
Well, he didn't convert. I asked him if he did. He said no, which I find that hard to believe. Well, they didn't get married in the church, so okay. But in the eyes of the church, she's not a married woman now.
I'm sure they don't broadcast it. So
no.
I'm sure they all think it's legitimate. And in their position, they can't be pushing people away anymore. They can't be that exclusive like that because they're just losing their numbers, their membership like crazy. But that's the only issue I have with her brother is like so many of the things that you believe, there's the same thing that had you believing it also provides information contradictory or follow-up information that's so, well, that wasn't quite what it was, or and you know, like the system, it's not only has it lied to us and does it lie to us all the time. You know, they passed the Munt-Schmidt Act, Munt-Smith Act, which allows the government to propagandize the people without any sort of truth behind it. They actually passed laws to protect themselves for some reason. I don't really know why, but they did. So like, I don't understand. Like, this is that arrogance that I keep talking about, right? Most people don't admit that they're arrogant. Most people would call me arrogant because I'm confident in specific endeavors, in specific ways. I'm very insecure in other ways, but when you see me in this presentation, I'm very confident. But you have an arrogance that's on a level way beyond anything I believe. All of you that believe God has a plan, and that it might not be part of that plan for you to get the job, but if you pray about it just right, you could get God to change his mind. You know, like that you believe your prayer works. That's an arrogance I just don't have. The other arrogance I don't have is believing that I can discern which presentations the system gives me that are bullshit and which ones aren't. That I can go, oh, that's just bullshit, especially when it comes to politics. You know how Trumpanzees can point out everything wrong with every other candidate ever, but then when it comes to Trump, they're just blind. You know, or they just say something stupid like, you know, the 2016 election. How is it somebody like your brother still votes and believes in the process when he witnessed it? Hillary won by 2.7 million votes. 2,700,000 plus more people voted for Hillary. And then Hillary didn't even put up a fight. She didn't even go, wait, what are you talking about? This is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. For the third time in modern history, the Electoral College goes against what the people are saying, and you don't think there's anything weird about that?
That's the thing. We're taught about the Electoral College, and it's mentioned and it's thrown around there.
Yeah, nobody knows what the fuck it is.
Nobody really understands it or exactly how it works. So if we're just told the Electoral College overrode the popular vote, we just have this tendency to believe it because, again, we don't fully understand how it works.
And you don't want to accept the implications of that. You just want to believe it and not give it too much thought, because if you go, wait a minute, if it doesn't matter what we vote, they're going to decide anyway, why should we even vote?
Right. And that's too much, because, you know, otherwise that makes you feel completely helpless. What else can you do but vote?
That's what you're supposed to do. That's how you fix things. You vote. Vote or die. Remember the vote or die campaign? They were like, man, that's a little harsh. We can't run with that again. But it's clearly, it's a fucking rigged system. The only three times that the Electoral College jumped into the fucking picture in modern history is
against the woman, against the black woman.
I mean, it's the clownish, the biggest clowns of the last, you know, the people that were like not politicians, not, you know, the two times that somebody was more of a TV star before they weren't politically affiliated. They just got put into that position. Like the two times that happened were George Bush Jr., who was the owner of the Texas Rangers, and he was George Bush's kid. He didn't serve on the fucking Senate for a long time and then make his way. He didn't do all that. He wasn't in Congress and shit.
Basically, if they feel one of the puppet strings are broken, they will enact the electoral college. This marionette isn't really working as well for us.
No, not at all.
The shoulder string is broke. That means they will break and they won't be our good puppet.
Not at all. Hillary is a good puppet to the core. They weren't worried about Hillary going off. Hillary was supposed to lose. That's the reason they stepped in, because they thought they had done enough to make Hillary lose. If you remember back to it, which you don't, especially the last couple weeks before the election, they were just dropping hill dog bombs over and over and over, to the point where the Friday before the Tuesday that you vote, the story of Danny, Danney Williams, hits the news. Now, this is a situation that's been known forever. Danny's like 26. And he's clearly Bill Clinton's son. He looks like a halfy version of Bill Clinton. It's crazy.
Oh, I remember him.
But they brought they break this story like because it you know, first of all, it's gonna fill in, it's gonna tickle the racist button. But secondly, I mean, how many women here, wait, not only did he cheat on you, but you knew he had a kid outside of wedlock or outside of the marriage, and you guys were paying them to be silent for all these years? You knew about that shit? Like, they're just trying everything they can to make Hillary look as bad as possible, while pretending that they all supported Hillary, because the news was all about Hillary, right? And then she won by a significant amount of people. 2.7 million votes at that time with the voter turnout that it was. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of fucking people. And then so they step in and say, well, yeah, you guys voted for her, and there's not another thing where there's an election and the person that gets the most votes loses. But we're just gonna say that Trump won anyway. And look, this guy's out walking his dog with his mask on.
I love that.
Fuck, what was I saying? I know it's about Hillary. I can't remember the point I was making. It's just silly, man. It's just, oh yeah, how you can watch that all happen and you still believe in that system. And then the funniest thing is, you know, the 2020 election, all you were seeing was black guys in barbershop commercials talking about, we need to get out there and vote, dog. We can't be talking about, you know, what's wrong with the country if we ain't be voting, dog. Yeah, give me some skin, high five, blood. Like, as black a commercial as they can make to appeal to the 13% of the population. Why would 13% of the population is nothing, especially when you consider how much of that 13% is actually eligible to vote. I mean, close to half of it's got to be children. And then, you know, then there's that other part where there's a large portion of people who legally aren't allowed to vote. And then there's the large portion of people who think it's all bullshit and aren't going to vote no matter what. But not only was that, you know, it seemed like they were focused on black people more than anything. And, you know, black people are the creators of cool, right? You know, anytime it's cool, it originates in black culture and then bleeds out. But you would also see, like, the news at the time would almost daily show you another story of this 103-year-old woman who who got a ride, sat in a car for 3 hours so she could come to the only thing that we were allowed to do at the time. We were locked down, told we couldn't see our family. We couldn't go to the store. We couldn't do anything. Couldn't go to the beach. Because going to the beach, oh boy, that's going to get everybody sick. We couldn't do all those things. Yet we could go stand in a line so then we could go into voting booths, enclosed voting booths, and vote for a president that we don't pick. Yes, you pick the president, of course you do. As long as you pick the right one, you guys pick the president. What the hell? What's so hard to understand about that? I want to see something. The funny thing is, they made this big deal out of Danny Williams on the Friday, and he was supposed to get the test results were going to be available like the following Wednesday or Thursday or something, and then you never heard it. The story wasn't about the kid and his identity. It was about, there he is. Look at that shit. That's Billy Boy's kid. Tell me that's not Billy's kid.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that guy. There was no denying it.
He claims to be the biological son of Ben. Blood tests ruled out Clinton as the father. Sure, they did. Then why were they paying this man or this woman for such a long time? Why did they pay to keep them silent for such a long time? I got to read this one. Is a man from Little Rock, Arkansas, who claims to be the biological son of Bill Clinton, the former president of the United States. Blood tests ruled out Clinton as the father. Background.
How?
Williams was born in 1985 to Danny Williams Sr. and Bobby Ann Williams. The story came to notice in the late 90s when reporting by Newsmax, led by celebrity tabloid magazine Star, to commission a paternity test to prove whether William is actually Clinton's biological son. Time magazine cited Star on July 18, 1999 to say there was no match. The story was revived in 2016 before the 2016 presidential election and pushed by a number of media outlets, including Newsmax, The Drudge Report, as well as World Net Daily and the New York Daily News. And every single media station. What are you fucking talking about? Due to some uncertainties with the original test by Starr, Snopes concluded that the claim was unproven. Well, Snopes is the fucking end-all be-all. I love how they create a website that they run themselves, and then that's where you're supposed to find. Like if Snopes says the conspiracy is a conspiracy, then it's if Snopes says it's not. Like, how did they even create such a fucking bullshit narrative? Why would anyone trust that? The Washington Post stated that while the test could not prove Clinton was the father, it did conclusively rule him out as the father. It's a weird way to say something. Due to some uncertainties with the original test by Starr, Snopes. On October 19th, 2016, Williams' lawyers announced their intentions to file a paternity suit to prove that Clinton's DNA matched Williams. Williams wrote to Monica Lewinsky asking for her dress in order to obtain a sample of Clinton's DNA. However, Lewinsky never replied to Williams. Then why is that a part of this narrative? How did that get to be a part of the narrative? A partial analysis of Clinton's blood and thus his DNA was already part of the public record because of the Lewinsky affair investigation. So, what did it conclude? That's the end. That's the end. That's all you get to know about this fucking guy? Tell him, Kyle.
Talking shit to you, isn't it? Looking right at him, chirping.
On our 19th. Okay, but what about the parts where they knew about this for a long time?
Tell him he's lucky you can't get over there.
The fact that she's in jail only further confirms her integrity. Maybe it's time to break her out of jail. I'm gonna go play reporter. Danny, you know how much trouble I can get for this? You are a patriot and my favorite soul cycle partner. You're lucky. lucky I can't stand Ellen. She thinks she's in a hotel.
I had no idea jail would be such a boon for the podcast. Another 100,000 downloads in 2 days. I got 3 publishers approach me about a book. This is a dream.
That's taken completely out of
The rumor of the unimmaculate conception of Danny Williams has rumbled in Arkansas since around 1985 when he was born to a Little Rock sex worker who alleged that Clinton had become a frequent customer after meeting her while out for a jog near the governor's mansion one morning in 84. And in supermarket tabloids and fringe conservative media since 1992. Isn't it amazing that this woman has been making these claims since 1985 when the kid was born, and the kid grew up to look exactly like Bill Clinton? Doesn't that sort of exonerate her? Like, what do we, how does that not push the issue? It's not even like he was like a toddler who looked like Bill Clinton and so they ran with it. She's been saying it since he was born. She had one look at her baby and was like, this one's going to look like Bill Clinton. That's how that's going to work.
Yeah. Well, can't you? Like,
she knew she was going to...
Go to a vending machine and just choose the traits?
Right. She has a clearly happy kid who looks exactly like Bill Clinton, and she just knew that's how it was going to work out from the time the kid was born. This is how stupid they think we are. And in supermarket tabloids and fridge conservative media since 92, when Clinton's enemies successfully planted it in the checkout aisle rag The Globe. Okay, rumors have been around since 85 when he was born. Throughout the rest of the pre-Lewinsky 90s, Clinton kid chatter popped up every once in a while, even making the mainstream press and Jay Leno's late-night monologue after an admittedly fishy report that a paternity test had confirmed Clinton was not the father. But the story never gained the momentum of the other passages of other passages from the vast right-wing conspiracy canon like Whitewater or Troopergate or the Clinton body count. Yeah, all those crazy conspiracies. This, despite the fact that, as far as Clinton allegations go, it didn't sound so far out there. Is it that hard to picture Bill Clinton encountering a sex worker and deciding to personally create a job? A similar story served as a plotline in Primary Colors, a novel turned movie largely understood to be about Clinton, written anonymously by Joe Klein, the former national correspondent for New York Magazine. Still, the story hummed in the background, as things tend to do, and ahead of the 2016 election, Roger Stone... Do you guys not see how it's just coincidental that everybody else that's being named is Jay? Was Lewinsky Jay?
Does this a Y or an I?
A Y, but it doesn't really matter.
Well, no, if it's an I, it's probably Polish.
Right.
Which doesn't mean that she's not, there were a lot of
right.
Polish
And
J's.
There's also Stone, there's all sorts of names that, like, you'd be surprised.
I would venture to guess it very well could be.
I never actually heard. We'll see. The longtime political dirty trickster did his best to resurface it to wound Hillary Clinton, as he tends to do. He devoted considerable space to the saga in The Clintons' War on Women, the guide to Clinton Oppo that he co-authored with Robert Morrow, an anime and porn-obsessed professional conspiracy theorist and genuine freak. Gee, I wonder if they're trying to paint a narrative. Who later got himself elected as the head of the Republican Party in Travis County, Texas. To give you an idea of how loony Morrow is, his collaboration with Stone ended because Stone thought he was too nuts. On the evening of the final 2016 presidential debate in Las Vegas, Williams waded into the public for the first time. Right. I mean, again, this is a well-known man in a well-known story. The fact that no news outlet ever decided to go do a legit story on it until that night, I mean, how much more fake do you have to think things are or see that they are before you acknowledge it's bullshit? When he held a press conference a short drive down the strip where he failed to answer questions about his association with Stone or the Trump campaign. The press conference was gleefully hyped by alt-right troll Baked Alaska, who chased me around the venue while streaming live on Periscope. This exact person was chased around. More recently, Baked Alaska was arrested for his role in the deadly January 6th insurrection at the Capitol, which was all what's that word? They got the presidential. They got all got pardoned. Trump pardoned all those guys, coincidentally, just a coincidence. When the 2016 campaign ended, so did Williams' relevance. Beyond sharing the odd semi-viral meme on social media or wishing Clinton a happy Father's Day, he drew. It's funny how Danny Williams looks a hell of a lot more like Bill than Chelsea Clinton does. Chelsea Clinton looks nothing like Bill. Nothing. And he clearly has strong genes. Guillain-Barré syndrome. Another one of those things that gives you Guillain-Barré, which is almost identical to polio, but ask your doctor if Keytruda could be right for you. Just don't ask about the Guillain-Barré syndrome thing. That's literally only associated with vaccines. You don't get Guillain-Barré syndrome from anything else in the world. How does that not trigger something in your head?
You heard about Biden, right?
No, what thing now?
He came out saying he was diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer that's already in his bones. Should be dead really soon.
Okay.
Pretty coincidental. It's a further clue that everything's carefully crafted. Guess I just donated my car to science. Because now people are saying, oh, well, had he won and didn't stop running and, let Kamala step up, he would have been dead anyhow, and she would have been our pet. There's just so much implicated with that.
All right. I'm going to reset and see what happens. And we'll see what happens. The links will be in the description. Free download, www.bilderberg.group.com. A link to Hollywoodism, the most important thing you can watch. And links to our two newest songs on Facebook, COVID Sauce and Donald Trump Hates America. Pedophiles, kill yourself.